happy to share that. I'm also happy to take the podium if that's less confusing.
No, I think we're okay. We can work through that.
Good morning, everyone. You all know me mostly as the clerk to the board. I'm also the comptroller's chief of staff, and the Department of Real Estate reports to me. And our real estate officer, his last day was last Friday, Andy Frank. We're
Oh,
already
we didn't know
missing.
that. Okay.
And I am the interim real estate officer until we identify his replacement. So I'm here this morning to share some information about this transaction for Patapsco Elementary School at 844 Roundview Road. This is a land disposition agreement. The city is proposing to sell the 5.1 acre parcel known as the former Patapsco Elementary School, located at 844 Roundview Road in the Cherry Hill community, to the Cherry Hill Community Developments Corporation. CHDC's development team proposes to demolish the former Patapsco Elementary School and develop new construction, mixed income, mixed use community. All of the 120 new units will be leased to households that earn up to 80% of the Baltimore AMI. The proposed development is consistent with the 2020 Cherry Hill Transformation Plan, the master plan completed by the Cherry Hill community and adopted by the Planning Commission in April 2020. The total cost estimate is $32,809,182, and the construction will begin about 2 years after Board of Estimates approval. Currently, the South Baltimore Adult High School operates from the former Patapsco building. The program has been in the Cherry Hill community for 2 years and focuses on removing the barriers to achieving economic self-sufficiency for low-income individuals through education and employment. MAHS will relocate from the building at the end of this school year and will move back into the new building upon completion. The city will sell the property for $276,000, which will cover the balance of unpaid bond debt service owed by the city to the state of Maryland. The property appraised for $400,000, but the developer cannot afford to pay the full appraised value, demolish the school, and construct an apartment building affordable to households at 80% of AMI or less. By selling the building for less than appraised value, the city is supporting and facilitating a central feature of the community master plan by narrowing the funding gap. And that concludes our summary.
Thank you. At this time, are there any questions or concerns for Comptroller's Office? Hearing and seeing none, I do see Mr. Prince online. If we could elevate Mr. Prince so he has an opportunity to provide his concerns to the board.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. If I didn't pronounce your name correctly, please pronounce it correctly for the record.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's Edward Prince.
Yes, sir.
Now's
your opportunity to speak, Mr. Prince.
I was just brought into this situation, so I don't know a lot of details about the background, but this was a closed door deal done by the previous mayor's administration. Cherry Hill is a African American community that's targeted for gentrification, and the Cherry Hill Development Corporation has been compromised, and they have partnered in various ways and various situations with outside developers to promote gentrification. So we like to see this deal tabled and at best reoffered as a RFP to local developers from the Cherry Hill community or African American developers. So we can we need an effort by the administration, by the council and the mayor to include African Americans in the redevelopment of Cherry Hill and not the exclusion of us in the redevelopment of Cherry Hill. That's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prince, for your testimony. From the board, are there any questions or concerns regarding Mr. Prince's testimony? Yes. Mr. Comptroller, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Prince.
Good morning.
Have you had any conversations with your council person about this development project?
No, not this particular development project. We had conversations about other issues out Cherry Hill, but this came through some local developers that have been cut out of the redevelopment plan in Cherry Hill.
Okay, but I'm just checking in to see whether you are aware of whether your council person is supportive of this project. The board agenda is shared with the council members, and we have not received a complaint or a concern from the council person for this district about this project.
I don't really understand the question. Are you asking me, is the council person's interest or opinion greater than the residents of Cherry Hill?
Well, technically, the council person's interest or opinion is supposed to be representative of the constituents in Cherry Hill. I guess my only question for you, and you have already answered it, is you haven't had a conversation about this with the council person. What I was just informing you of is we haven't gotten a similar complaint or concern from your council person. And that's usually how we know that there is a disconnect between a project that the city is moving forward with and the wishes of the community. But this project, as Ms. Amato shared, is being developed by the Cherry Hill Community Development Corporation, and it's consistent with the master plan that the community itself developed 3 years ago. So that's what we're working off of in terms of why this project is coming to the board at this time.
Yes, yes. And I want to explain this without being offensive to people that hold political office, but normally in situations where redevelopment and there's a lot of money involved, the opinion of the residents of a lot of African American communities that are gentrified are not heard. But in this particular instance, the residents are prepared to initiate litigation if their voice is not heard in this particular deal.
Okay, I guess my only other question, Mr. President, is, Mr. Prince, are you speaking on behalf of an organized community association, or are you speaking and presenting this to us as an individual?
As a person that is a part of a collective, a loose collective of residents who are developers, proven developers, and who are being starved out and offered deals by corporations such as Enterprise that is targeted Cherry Hill for gentrification, and we're just not going to take it anymore.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, are there any additional questions or concerns for Mr. Prince? Mr. Prince, thank you. If you could please stay on the line as we continue to talk about this. I guess from some of the concerns that Mr. Prince has raised, is there a minority participation goal built into this deal?
I don't know if the LTA has a specific, that would happen with the actual onset of the project.
The actual agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know the developers tied into this particular project?
Yes.
Yeah.
The development team is headed by CHCD. But
Yeah, but who are the actual
yeah,
developers?
right, that's what I'm saying.
It's a joint venture between Elevate Baltimore, Inc.,
Elevate.
Baltimore City Community College, and CHDC.
Got it. Is there any minority equity in this deal?
No.
So I think Mr. Prince raises some really important concerns. Obviously, we want to continue to see the growth of our city forward. We know that Cherry Hill couldn't be more of a symbolic representation of the disproportionate amount of disinvestment that the city, state, and federal government has applied to Black communities all across this country, but a symbolic representation of it here in the city of Baltimore. We also understand and know that Cherry Hill is some sought-after real estate, butting up against some of the only last remaining areas of waterfront in the city of Baltimore. I think Mr. Prince, how he's maybe not here representing an organization, but as a concerned citizen, I think it's important for this board to ensure that we do our due diligence, that we are not continuing to further propel the residual effects of the discriminatory real estate practices that the city of Baltimore has been engaged in since the inception of our city. With that, I'm going to ask that we defer. I would be interested in understanding and knowing what the minority participation is in this LDA. Who are the partners? What are the requirements for local hiring associated for this particular project? If there's any minority equity that's intended or a goal that's tied into this particular deal. I think something was put out there, I'm not sure how true it is, but if this was not done from an RFP process, why do we decide not to do it from an RFP process? So I'm going to ask the board that we defer this to 2 meetings so I can better understand and get some additional information. So I'll put that out there as a motion.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor to defer. It's been
Second.
there's a motion and it's been properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Prince, that's exactly what this board is here to do, to allow citizens to come, provide and point out concerns. Mr. Comptroller, you were a council member at a time. We don't know where the council members' support is on this particular thing. What I will say is, council members don't necessarily read all 200 or 300 pages of Board of Estimates to kind of pinpoint what's directly impacting their district. So I think it's important, particularly for deals like this. Is a really large deal. Obviously, the appraisal value is based off of this current condition, not what the future value would be. The $32 million investment is great. And then when we talk about things of up to 80%, what does that really look like? Right now, we're really engaged on inclusionary housing and affordable housing, particularly in a community like this. So when we say up to 80%, what is really the mixed income that we're going to get out of a building like this? So those are the types of questions that, we're going to continue to ask. Mr. Prince, again, thank you for participating in today's agenda. If you could continue to follow, if you have any additional follow-up or questions or concerns or commentary that you would like to provide to the board, please do so through the comptroller's office. You can also reach out to my office as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Prince. And thank you to Madam Celeste, Madam Clerk / Real Estate.
Acting real estate officer.
Real estate officer. But this item will be deferred.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank you and the board for the protection of our community.
No, thank you so much for coming and present to us today. Are there any additional questions or concerns?
Mr. President, did we say we were deferring that to the 5th?
I said two meetings. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
So I was not inclusive of a special meeting.
Yeah, that's where we have to be careful.
The 2nd.
Yeah, just to give us some time to work through and make sure we provide the community with all the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that's just for the record, talking to the Madam Clerk, we're going to do it for 2 meetings, not including next week's meeting, which is a special meeting associated with the budget. Are there any additional questions, concerns, comments? Okay, seeing there's no additional business before the desk, we will adjourn. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Estimate will occur on Wednesday.